Hello, Michelle Fielding. How are you? So great to have you back after doing our NESARA video 2 months
Yeah,
ago.
hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. So what have you been up to, and what's the differences and changes that you've had with your friends and family with this great awakening?
Yeah, since the last time we spoke, um,
Yeah.
it's just been getting very busy for me as a spiritual coach. Lots of people are finding my work on YouTube, which I only really started back in, I think it was March. So I was a complete beginner to the whole YouTube arena, really.
And how can people find you if they want to find you on YouTube?
If they just look up my name, Michelle Fielding, and then I think it says Michelle Fielding Spiritual Coach.
Right.
And the last video I put out a few days ago, it's just gone absolutely crazy. I think the last time I checked it this morning, it was on something like 12,000 views, which for me is like massive because normally if I get sort of 1,000 views, that's about normal.
Yeah.
And the topic was really about everything that's going on right now with the elections and how it's going to look going forward. So I don't normally like predict times and political events. That's not really what my job is, even though I'm kind of like a psychic and a channel. Normally, the work that I do is about people's souls and where they're going in their soul journey. But you see, the things that are happening now are so biblical
Yeah.
that my channels, when they come through now, they're just really excited to tell me what they've really been telling me for about 10 years, but now it's actually happening. So each time I'm tuning in now, they're actually quite keen to express, this is it. This is actually it. And to be honest, I was actually losing a little bit of faith with it all because I've been teaching about something called the golden age, which is this moment now, this moment of awakening, and then the journey going forward since, 2010. And so a lot of the things that we are expecting to happen next, with the monetary system and the legal, basically everything. They've been teaching me about this for some time, and I kept thinking, this world just sounds a bit fantastical, and yeah, it would be great, and I have a lot of faith, and I do see that world coming, but I didn't ever see it really happening in my lifetime. And so in March, when the virus came, the first thing I thought was, this is it. This is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Trying to
because
stop Trump, stopping
yeah,
Trump's agenda as well.
yes. Well, you see, the year before, I'd been teaching groups and I'd been really busy and I hadn't been having much time to sort of look at world events. And to be fair, I didn't actually really take much interest in Donald Trump. In fact, I was a bit sucked in with, the things that he was saying about the wall. And of course, the first thing I assumed was that he was, a racist and against immigration and all these types of things, which is obviously what the mainstream media was putting out. And even though I don't really engage with mainstream media, you do find that message can find you on any sort of media. And then it wasn't until this year when everything happened with the plague that I started to get a very different feeling about everything that was going on. And I started to put all the dots together. And then it was, it was like a second awakening for me, to be fair. It was like a big, oh my God, it's happening. In fact, I've been so excited the whole time. Every day I wake up, I hardly sleep, because I just think what's going to happen next.
Exactly. It's just the weekends we end up sleeping in.
I really don't think I even sleep at the weekend either, because there's just always so much going on because this whole thing just doesn't really rest. It's just ongoing until we get to the conclusion. But I had two dreams about Donald Trump quite early on. And that's what really secured it for me. The first one was I was in an underground tunnel, and I was stood a little way back from him. So I was kind of observing him. And there was all these military people kind of running around doing things. And he was just stood, and it looked like he was just calmly giving out instructions. And they were all like doing their part. So it was like watching a strategic plan in action. And then the second dream I had, I was sitting up on Hollywood Hills, and he was sitting next to me, and I had my head kind of on his arm. And he was saying to me, everything's going to be okay. And it was a bit like, makes me a bit emotional, actually. It was a little bit like having your dad, you know, and your dad saying, actually, it's all going to be okay. And it was a really profound like moment, because I've never been to the Hollywood Hills, although I would love to go.
Yeah.
It's that kind of classic thing that you see on films where they're sitting up at the top and they're looking over. And that was where we were. And after that point, that I've never doubted anything. And I didn't know about Q or anything. I've just been kind of learning since March what Q means. And obviously I've had that channeled to me, and they've explained to me who that is and what that's all about. And the reason that I have so much faith in it all is because, having known nothing about it and then channel things, and then find that this has been going on for a couple of years, and I couldn't have heard it anywhere else because I wasn't engaged with it. That's when you know that the messages you're getting are absolutely 100%.
Absolutely. I think it's great. It was the other day, actually. It was my mum's birthday, and we were talking about Trump.
Okay.
And I goes, Mum, I wish he was my granddad.
I know.
Not that I don't like my granddad, but you know what I mean. If I could have one.
Exactly. Everybody, once you get what he's really about, you really can't not love him.
He's a fun one. He's a fun granddad. He dances.
Yeah, he is fantastic, and he's funny. He's actually really funny.
He is. He's got a lot of charisma,
and he's very clever. Yeah, very clever.
And he plays it down very well. You know,
like today, when I woke up, the first thing that's all over Twitter is the story about Sidney Powell, and everyone's just worrying and panicking. And I don't panic. I just think, well, this is just another part of the plan. There's a reason. What do you think about that? What do you think about this particular thing with Sidney Powell?
I think. Look, what happened by Rudy, one of the lawyers, he said that Sidney Powell is an independent lawyer.
Yeah,
he doesn't. She doesn't represent Trump with his personal capacity. What does that mean? That means that, of course, we know it's not personal. It's to do with government. It's to do with draining the swamp. Nothing to do with personal. Nothing to do with Trump's, anything personal to do with his life or his family. Nothing to do with that. It's to do with the government. It's to do with the people.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think, when Rudy says that she practices law independently, outside of the Trump administration, it only tells me it's to do with legality things where it protects Trump. So maybe lawyers involved with the Trump administration who work directly within the Trump administration, maybe there are certain boundaries they can't cross because it's to do with government.
Yeah.
Now, I think that Trump has, used her to work for Trump, but not within the Trump administration, where it doesn't give her restrictions legal restrictions in certain areas where it allows him to complete his agenda, the way that he wants to. So
I
when
totally agree.
yes,
It gives her a more free, gives her more free reign, because she's not tied into any, like you said, any of the constructs of what would happen if she was working for him in government. That's what I think. And also, I think that in future, if he wanted to offer her, say, a job in government, at the moment, it's better for her to be outside of all of this so she can be brought in maybe at a later date. That was my thinking. I don't really know why I think that, but that was just what was going around in my head.
Yeah. You see, I think it gives Trump more power to do what he wants when he's got power outside of the administration, because no one can go after the administration. It's a bit like a limited company. Someone wants to sue you. Well, they don't sue the director, they sue the company because it's limited. You know? So it's a bit like that. That's what I think.
I think so. I think there's a lot more to it than obviously what the mainstream media are saying, which again, they spin it that it's something really bad. But I actually think it's another clever move.
Well, Rudy turns around and says she practices, Sydney Powell practices law independently. So the mainstream media twist it and make it sound like, the Trump administration has dropped her.
Yeah, I know.
To make them look as if the Trump administration do not know who they're hiring. They're firing, they're dropping people, they're doing the, Trump's a racist, he's crazy, he's moaning like a baby that he's not accepting the results, and they're all twisting it. It's amazing. Do you know what I say? I say that when the truth comes out and people realize the truth, they will look back at the mainstream media and they will know exactly who they're working for. They will know exactly which side the mainstream media are on and how they've been lying to the people.
Yeah.
And right now, when I see them lying, reporting fake news, I love it. I just think, go on, dig yourself a deeper grave. I love it.
Yeah.
So
I must say that I'm almost getting overwhelmed now with every day. We just don't know when it's all going to come out, and it's like we've been just waiting for so long. And like I was explaining at the beginning, it's been like 10 years for me since I was told about the golden age in my meditations and my visions. And when I was meditating, I think it was about a week ago, I started to see in my meditations the golden age and flying cars, and it was all sunshine and clean, and you could just like almost smell this new world coming. And it's almost like waiting for Christmas when you're a child. It's like you just, any minute.
Stuff. We're adults, and this is the big boy stuff,
I feel really sad for the people that don't see it yet, because this is like a whole show going on, the biggest show that I've ever witnessed in my life, and they're kind of missing it all.
They are. But do you know what? My mum was saying the same thing. She was saying, because we were saying our cousins, aunties, uncles, they don't even know anything about this. All they can see is lockdowns and masks and getting on with their lives. They have no clue. My mum goes, what a shame. We're enjoying this movie. I go, it's all right, Mum. They're going to know one day when it's a bit too late. But I'll happily sit down on a round big table and, do questions and answers. I love that. I've got this thing about teaching and explaining and discussing.
Yes. And you'd be very good at that. You'll be very good at that.
I hope so, but it's rewarding because it's nice giving information to people and making them understand things and allowing them to explain it from a different perspective where they can learn it. So it's really good, but that's what it's going to happen.
Yesterday, somebody I was just talking to on Messenger, who's she's retired, and she was just saying to me, I hadn't spoken to her for maybe about 10 months, and I was asking her how she was just in general, and I could feel her anxiety coming through Messenger. She was just saying, I haven't been out and I'm so ill and I'm so scared. And this is not somebody that's awake. She's a little bit old school, a little bit old fashioned. So I just said to her, just stop watching the news. It's just really like a very bad flu. And if you, just do the normal thing that you would do in winter, just, keep yourself warm, take your vitamins, and just try not to keep watching the news. Because, of course, this age group, on the whole, tends to just feast on the BBC. And I just said to her, just try not to watch any of that drama, just do something else. There was no way that I could even start to introduce any of these concepts because that would just be like speaking a different language. But the thing that came through to me, Nicholas, is that people, when this hits, there's going to be a big fallout. Mm-hmm. And people like you and me are going to have a lot of teaching and counselling and supporting to do, because the fear factors are going to turn into anger when they realise that all this time, all their lifetime, they've been lied to about everything, not just the last year, but like everything.
Their whole life.
Everything. And they're just going to, once they get past the initial shock of it all, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be absolute anger, or they're going to go into like a psychotic break, like a depression or something. And that really kind of depends, I suppose, on who's around to help them at the time.
Yeah.
But I think that people's reactions are going to be quite extreme. And I'm already, honestly, my work, I've had to stop taking on like new people because I just said I can't take on any more cases at the moment. I just can't take any more, do any more one-to-ones, because there's just so many people coming through onto my website and contacting me that there's just not enough hours in the day. As you said, even the weekends now are just completely taken up with it all.
Oh, I would love to do big seminars.
Yes. Well, perhaps that's what we should do.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
definitely, and explain it. But I think that after this point, I think there's going to be books written about Donald Trump. In my opinion, I think Donald Trump's going to go down as one of the biggest historical figures in history, bigger than Alexander the Great, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I think decades after this, people are going to be writing books about Donald Trump. I think that there's going to be films about this. I think there's going to be documentaries about this. I think 2020 is going to be a big historical memory in the future. They'll be teaching this in schools as history. Forget Second World War. That's going to be part of the New World Order plan. That's going to be buried in the corrupt so-called historical plan.
Yeah.
History is going to be rewritten, and it's going to be about the people, the corrupt people who planned the Second World War, instead of learning the Second World War as a piece of history itself. So it's going to be very much different, I think, and it's going to be great. But yeah, it's really shocking with what's happening. People are going to be very, very shocked and surprised.
Well, I think after the initial shock, when they start, I think they're going to have problems at first adjusting to the fact that there's going to be nothing to fight against anymore. Because if this new NESARA, GASARA framework comes in, and people just have income just for being alive, and they have no debt, and they have more free time, and the weather's nice, and they can travel and do the things that before they were always too busy to do. Like I said, after the initial shock, the depression and the anger, they're just going to realize there's nothing to fight against. This system of not having a two-party political system in the future, it's going to just be, we're not even going to be worried about, who's getting into power or who's going to lead us, because the person that's going to lead us will always be someone that has our best interests at heart. I see the whole two-party system just now just falling apart?
Well, I think that instead of putting all of our energy into worrying, the resistance of the opposition, like you were saying, that's not what life's about. We should be living and putting all our energies in improving ourselves.
Yeah.
Because when there's no stress, the energy levels change. We have different paths. We help others. We do what we're passionate for doing. There are some people who voluntarily help. They want to go and help in hospital for free. They don't want to get paid for it because they are passionate about what they're doing, about charity, humanitarian projects. And that's what we should be doing, not working to survive, but working because we want to, we are passionate about improving society, people, and doing, getting involved with these projects. And that's what it's all about, so.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because when you're working with people from a position of passion, you are making an energy between the two of you, which serves both of you. So you can't give something without receiving something back. So when people come for soul readings, the question they're often asking is, what should I be doing with my life? I'm not happy in my job. What should I be doing? And what you have to think about is, what is it you really would do for nothing? What would you go and do that you enjoy so much that you didn't even care if you got paid? And someone might say, for instance, oh, that's painting, or that's gardening, or that's looking after the elderly. And I say to them, that's the thing that you need to be doing. And once you're doing the thing that you need to be doing, then everything else just comes to you. The money, the peace, the health, everything.
You made me think actually what I would do. And we're not even in the NESARA GASARA just yet. And even now we're still in the old system. If someone said to me right now, what would you like to do? I'd definitely go to the States for free and help Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Stuff or something, I'd do that for free. I'd just be happy to do that. That would be amazing for me.
I would love to do that. I would love to be part of all of this. Honestly, I mean, we are part of all of this in our own way. Yeah. We're all doing our part, even though we're not physically there. Our energy is with him and with the whole system. So we are actually helping. But I do know what you mean. The excitement of maybe being able to go there would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I know what you mean. We are definitely involved. Yeah, definitely. We're doing our part, even if it's a very small part. It's the principle that we're doing our part, and in history. And I think that even a little bit, everyone has a part to play. And I'm definitely not going to sit back. Even if it doesn't make a difference, I'm not going to sit back. I'm going to get out there and talk, even if it's telling the neighbor about the science, the corruption. That's doing something.
Yeah.
You just take the good side. Sitting back, wearing a mask, complying, you're basically on the bad side. And we're not softies. We will stand, on the right side of history. And I feel good for doing that. I feel morally, it feels rewarding. Even if people don't like it, or even when I go to the supermarket, like the other day, I went to the supermarket the other day, right? And everybody was wearing masks. And the fact that I wasn't wearing a mask, I felt I was still doing something. And another person that walked past me in the superstore who wasn't wearing a mask said to me, "Hi, mate, how you doing?" I said to him, "Very good. Keep up the good work." And we just started laughing. And I made sure I said it really loud so everyone could hear it.
Yeah.
It does not bother me. I don't mind making a fool out of myself if it means that in their eyes. I don't care, And I proudly say to the cashier, "What do you think about this COVID hoax?" Really loud, and I'll say extra loud so the whole queue behind me can hear it, right?
And what did the cashier say? What did she say?
She goes, "It's bullshit, isn't it?" I think people are waking up. And I think a lot of people look at us and think, God, I wish I had a bit more confidence like that. But they're not. They're wearing masks, complying. Most of them are because they're afraid of what others are going to think about them.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been so free, not worrying about what others people think of me. Never. And I love it because I'm the driver of my life. And I'm happy because I'm the one that's stirring the direction where I want to go.
Well, you are a warrior of light.
Well, I try to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I just do what I think is right.
Yeah.
And I'm there fighting for everyone, and they don't realize it.
But they will do in time. And I must say that the other day I was watching a video that you were making with Prime Minister.
Okay.
And what happens when you have angels around you is that you have little tiny orbs of light and they fly around. And if you go back and you look at that particular video, there's a certain part in the video where you're saying something, you're getting very excited about it. So your energy was going up.
Really?
And in that moment, the little white orbs were flying past you. And sometimes when I'm doing Zooms with people, like clients, they'll say to me, I can see all the little orbs flying past you. And that shows me that your energy is very pure and that the angels are helping you with your message.
Thanks.
So, when people say that angels are around you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a big white being necessarily stood here that people can see as a big white being with feathers. Doesn't necessarily mean that. It can mean, for instance, that, like I said, you've got orbs on your camera, or if you look at some of your pictures, your photographs, you might find that there's some little orbs on your photographs. And this is another way that kind of the angels make their presence known. And I'm an angel teacher, so I kind of notice these details.
Okay.
But you have an energy that people are very drawn to. So in the future, and now, of course, but in the future, when people do have these breakdowns or whatever is going to happen, you're going to be someone that's there to soothe them through it all.
I hope so. I really do hope so. I don't see what you see, but thank you very much. You're very experienced in this area.
You don't have to be clairvoyant to see the orbs that I was talking about. You just go back to that video and you just watch it carefully, and it comes across over your right shoulder as you're speaking, and it's very fast. So you will have to have your thing on a big picture,
okay,
so you can see it. But you don't have to be clairvoyant to see these little orbs coming round. Now, because I'm a clairvoyant as well, and because I work with angels, I know that they work with you, and I see them behind you. But the little orbs that I'm talking about, all your audience would be able to see it. So if they were inclined and they went back and had another little look on that Prime Minister Zoom.
Do with him? Which one?
I'm just trying to remember what you were talking about with him now. It was a couple of weeks ago. I think it was the one you did. I can't remember what you were talking about. I'll have to go back and check for you.
Okay.
But there was the orbs were kind of all flying around. So that to me suggests that when we go forward, when people have all these problems with accepting what's coming, you're going to be a real light, like in their chaos.
I think I think everyone that's here, like yourself and Prime Minister as well. I think we will all be a light, contributing and helping those people and holding their hands and saying to them, "Look, it is what it is." The great stuff now is your mortgage is gone or your credit card.
Yeah.
We can do this now. We can do that. It is what it is.
The other thing I needed to ask you was, a few months ago, I bought some XRP and I didn't even know what it was. I don't even know what it is. I just have it on my phone in a little wallet. And I think I just bought something like £20 worth because I didn't really know what it was. And now I've been hearing through you, and I keep seeing everyone talking about XRP. So can you explain what that is and why everyone's getting so excited about it?
So XRP is a cryptocurrency that is expected to be centralized in all the banking systems in the quantum financial system globally.
Is it gold backed then?
Through the quantum financial system, yes, but not directly as a normal currency would be.
Right.
Now, one XRP has 1 million units. Okay. So the units is like a penny or a cent in America. And then the XRP, one XRP is like $1 or £1. Okay.
Right.
Now, like we have 100 cents or 100 pennies, and one XRP has 1,000,000 units, right?
Right.
XRP experts and Charlie Ward and many others have said and have heard that XRP is expected to reach 10 to 15,000 pounds or dollars for one XRP. Right now, it's at 41 pence. Okay.
I think when I bought it, it was 21 pence. With that,
Right,
does that sound about right?
Yeah. I bought mine at about 19 pence.
Yeah, I think it was about 21 pence, and I didn't really know anything about it, so I just bought £20 worth.
Yeah.
So, and you're saying it's going to go up to how much?
To 10 to 15,000. Now, I'm hearing that it could also go to around $500 or pounds at the end of this year, December.
So now, if that happens, then how do I cash it in? Because at the moment, it's sitting on a little wallet in my mobile phone under some sort of crypto app that I've got. Because honestly, I'm very hopeless with all this, with all these things. So I know it's sitting there, £20 worth.
Well, very simple. What you do is you get a WireX app. You can download on your iPhone or your Samsung.
Right.
And what a WireX is, it's a cryptocurrency wallet with a cryptocurrency address.
Right.
And then it works like a sort code and account number. You get a sort code and account number, and it works as an online bank. So two combined together. You can just transfer all your cryptos into that wallet using your wallet address. And through that app, you just convert it to pounds or dollars. And then you've got a card as well. You've got a bank card as well that comes with the WireX bank card. So what the WireX is, I want you to imagine what Coinbase and Revolut account, it's one together.
Okay.
Yeah, so you use that, and it comes with a bank card. You can order a bank card with it as well. And you get a sort code and account number, like a normal bank account. And then and in the same app, it has a cryptocurrency address.
Now, this XRP, is this something separate to reevaluation, or is that just something that's going to happen on its own, or is it all linked into this reevaluation?
No, it's a little bit. They're a bit separate. So the XRP is a new thing. It's a crypto. Right. It's a new thing in respect that it's going to be used and it's going to be crippled up because it's going to have so much value because so much people are going to be using it. It will be centralized in all the banks. So as to the currencies, we've already got them. So all the stolen gold that the Vatican has taken, and as many of you know, that 650 airplanes have had to transport all of that gold back to the US, but not to Donald J. Trump, but to the military, because they've confiscated it, and then it will be distributed back fairly and evenly to all the countries around the world. And what they would do then is they would use that gold and they would use it to back up their currency. Now, when that happens, you'll see a complete rise. It will be in level playing field. Okay, so the reason why it will be in level playing field is because Donald Trump believes that every currency should be the same. So we're able to trade nations to nations evenly, fairly, because that's how we can compete fairly. And that's what Donald J. Trump says.
And that's actually how it's been channeled to me as well.
Yeah.
Everything that you've just said has been explained to me in a similar fashion, obviously with different wording, but that the wealth is coming back to the people and that every country, nation and creed, that's the words they used, would be equal.
Exactly.
So not just equal like financially, but equal in everything. There'll be no more of this competing anymore. We'll just all live as one like a one nation almost, although it won't be globalism, but will, in terms of how we feel about other countries and each other, it will be like this oneness.
Exactly. We'll be all working like a family.
It would be fantastic.
No one's left out.
No, exactly.
That's all it is. And if you put the right people in power, they could have done this a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's a bit like this. Just imagine, right? On Christmas Day, you're with your family on Christmas Day. Why should one person on Christmas Day have no food, be by themselves, and be depressed? Why? I'm sorry. No, come and join us. Come to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and join us. And that's, if you look at it on a big scale, globally, that's how it should be like.
Yeah.
Together, right? As a family, because we're humans, right? And the fact that we're all humans, we are brothers and sisters, father and mother. That's it. Doesn't go, it's very simple, and people complicate it that, that's the way of the world. No, it's not. That's the way we've been brainwashed.
This is true. In spiritual terms, everything is very simplistic. And it's exactly what you just said. Everything is one, and just love everybody. And that's it. And once you just can do that and share, like you said, then you have a completely different landscape to look out on each day. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was, when I was channeling, I've been hearing that the voting systems where we think there's obviously fraud been going on has actually been occurring in the UK as well. And last year, when we were going through the UK elections, all I kept hearing all the time in my channelings was stand up and speak out. Stand up and speak out. And it's really strange because, on Facebook, things come round as a memory. All what I was saying last year is now coming round at the same, because it's the same time of year as our election last year. And it's the same, that's what they were trying to say. It was about what was going on now. At the time, I was thinking they were talking about the UK election, but they were actually just preparing me for what was coming and saying to the world, stand up and speak out. And it would appear now that the whole election anyway, probably in the UK as well, has actually been fraudulently won. And as soon as I heard that these machines in America might actually be twisting and turning and flipping votes, that was the very first thing that came to my mind. Because when it all happened in the UK last year, I was saying to everyone, something's wrong, because every single person that I knew was saying that they weren't going to vote for a Tory government. And so it just didn't make any sense to me how that turned out.
The Tory government is basically a bunch of criminals who've hijacked our government. And it's been going on for decades and decades, and they've been using fraudulent voting systems, and they've been used all over the world. As soon as Donald Trump has cleared this one in the Supreme Court, and he proves that all governments, not just his, have been using it globally, all governments will be arrested. They'll have to step down. New elections will take place, and this will be the GASARA. So remember, globally, governments coming down is part of GASARA.
And did you hear that GASARA, it looks like it started on the 2nd of November, the day before the elections. So that means that 120 days from the 2nd of November, then the new leader of the GASARA framework will need to be put into place. So I think this is kind of like a plan B, C, D, and E of Donald Trump. So, we've got they're doing the legal situation with the flipping of the votes. They've got this GASARA going on. They've also got the quantum voting system, which apparently they've had these watermarked ballots. Yeah. It's like 3 layers of security in there.
And they've got witnesses as well.
Yes. And then they've also got this legal, the thing that I was talking to you about yesterday, is it Throckmorton or something, which is like a precedent, which says that if there's been any fraud, then it basically overturns the election. This goes back to something like 1878. So the Supreme Court, at the end of the day, could actually just throw everything out anyway if they can prove that there's obviously been some fraudulent activity, which from what I'm hearing, I don't see how they can't prove that.
Who can prove that?
In America, I don't see how they're not going to be able to. I don't see how they're going to be able to say that there wasn't fraudulent activity.
Oh,
there's more votes than people.
Yeah. No. There's too much evidence. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's really too much evidence. If I owned BBC, I would be very worried to say that there wasn't any fraud. If I was the owner of BBC, I'd be very, very worried about that. Go on.
I was going to say, like the other day when we were talking and we were trying to work out dates, which I don't really get given dates, to be fair. I just get feelings about when things are going to maybe click into place. But the other day I was sort of thinking, Donald Trump, when you try to read his energy, it's like plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E. He's got all these backstops. It's like I was explaining to you, it's like looking at an underground map. Yeah. And I don't know if the first time you ever went on the underground, you get on the wrong train, you think you're on the right track, but you're going in the wrong direction, and then you end up jumping off, getting on somewhere else. That's what when you tune into his energy to try and get some kind of feel about where things are going, that's what I can feel, that there's all these different ideas in place. So if one track doesn't go where you're expecting it to go to, he's got all these other plans lined up. So it's multi-pronged.
Yeah, I think everything is really planned. There's a technology called through the looking glass. And this technology through the looking glass gives probabilities of the future. And this quantum energy that was designed or invented by Tesla, it's been used by the cabal for so long now, and that's how they've got away with everything. But now the good hats are in control of it. So when you think that Donald Trump's 5-10 steps ahead, it's only because it's all being planned through this technology, through the looking glass.
It's like an AI third eye, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how it all works, but that's how it's going. If you think it's going very smoothly, it's because of this technology.
I think so. Yeah.
All planned. Just sit back and relax. Get your popcorn out.
It's really exciting. The other thing that I was listening to this week is there's an astrologer that I listen to. Her name is Pam Gregory. I don't know if you know her. But she was saying that around the lunar eclipse on the 30th of this month, that this is going to be like the shift of the ages. This is her words. This is the shift of the ages. And she said that there's going to be a lot of deconstruction in terms of political structures, institutions, anything where there's been power from the top down. She said there's going to be quite a lot of chaos initially as all this dysfunctional systems gets brought down. She was saying it's all to do with the rebirth of the new age that's coming. The golden age should be in place by 2032. So we've got, another sort of 10 years or so of bringing everything down, all the old systems.
But you're saying when it's complete.
Yeah.
Because it will start to take down very well, even now.
It's beginning. The awakening is the beginning of us moving into the golden age. But we won't just go to bed one day and wake up the next day and we're in the golden age. It'll be like a process. It
would take like a 10-year transition until we've started, which is now. And then until it's completely complete, it would be like the 10 years. I think so. But I think we're going to see a lot of great things like even now.
Of course. It's going to be amazing, the things that happen initially. Amazing. So the golden age is really about what the vibration will be by then. So what's happening is Earth is changing its vibration constantly. And it's now moving its way up to what we call the 5th dimension. As it reaches that vibration of the 5th dimension, that's when we hit the golden age. So that in itself is a gentle process. You don't just go from 3D to 5D overnight. That would be too shocking to everybody and everything. So it's like a gentle transition. And so what we're going to be seeing at the moment is like the awakening of us going into 5D. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a road that's leading us towards it. And the next big like pathway, if you like, is on the 21st of December. So on the 21st of December, we're going to be pulsed with higher energies again. And Earth will be responding from the other side. So it'll be coming down from the Galactic Federation. The ley lines within Earth will also be responding. And us as energetic beings, some of us, you and I will probably be fine, but some people are going to just be jolted into this kind of new reality. And they're going to be like rebirthed, if you like. They're going to see everything from a different perspective. It's like a window opening.
Okay.
And then a big surge of energy coming through.
And I get it. Are you saying that they're just going to receive this new window, for an example, putting it very simply, they're going to look through it and be very overwhelmed?
What's going to happen is the energy is going to be pulsed onto the Earth. And because we're all energetic beings, they're going to feel it. So for some of us, because we're already awake and we're already on a spiritual journey, it won't be quite as intense for us. I'm not saying it won't be intense, but we'll see it from a different perspective. For those people that are still asleep, this could be the moment that it's enough to just kind of jolt them to wake up. So it won't just be what's going on externally in terms of the news and anything that might be getting disclosed. It will also be like an energetic change as well. So, right. And it'll be because it's coming through this portal that's opening on the 21st of December. So with this lunar eclipse on the 30th of November, the next sort of 4 weeks are going to be quite intense for a lot of people. You know, they're going to feel quite overwhelmed, especially if they're not really where we are in our spiritual progress. It's going to knock them a little bit off center. So that's going to be interesting to see.
So can I ask you a question? I mean, when this happens and they feel that energy, how should they feel? I mean, what should they think? I mean, would they change their thoughts?
Well, I don't know how the awakening happened for you. But it's just like it happens for people in different ways. Some people get jolted into a life crisis. They might have a nervous breakdown, or they might have a prophetic vision, you know, or they might suddenly be able to see angels, or they might go into a deep depression. So it's different for everybody. You can't really kind of predict how it's going to affect people. Because at a soul level as well, they will have decided before they came in how they wanted to experience the awakening, how that affected them personally, and who was around them at that time, and what the situations were that provoked it. So it's not like a one size fits all.
I see. Yeah.
And it's just that each time these energies come in, they help to. For the sleepers especially, it gives them another little opportunity to wake up.
So when they get this energy to wake up, will this energy give them thoughts to think about? Like, actually, let me look at this again. Or actually, that didn't sound right coming from the news. Maybe it's like this. Let me have a look into that. Is that energy going to give them some of that?
I think so. I think it will just start to be that everything that they thought was a certain way, they might now start questioning it without anyone prompting them. Or if you and they happen to hear us speaking on a YouTube or something, whereas in the past they might have dismissed it, now they might actually turn their head and hear it. It's like for the first time, it's like for the first time in your life, you hear what someone's saying. Whereas before, you might have just dismissed it and it might have just gone completely over your head. But when people start to awaken, it's like they really hear it for the first time.
And you're saying that when they do hear it for the first time, it might hit them because they know that they have to accept it. And accepting is the most difficult part, because when you actually decide to accept it, it means that you're accepting that your whole life was a lie. And you're saying that's the part that they might get depressed about. And for some people, it might be like, well, it was crap anyway. I'm glad that this is the truth. But you know what? In a way, because something's been done about it, it's not bad news at all. That's what they need to realize.
The thing that hit me the hardest, and obviously I'm awake and been teaching this stuff for a long time, but even back in March and April, when I started to hear that people that we really love in Hollywood were involved in all this deep, dark child and satanic abuse, that really hit me hard. And I had to take a few days off of social media just to absorb that and just to kind of like have a bit of a grieving process. And because I know where we're going with the whole thing, I understand the bigger plan. I was able to get through that quite quickly. I was able to see what it was, grieve for it, and move past it because I could see the bigger plan. For people that are going to hear all this for the first time, it's going to be, I don't think they're going to move past it quite as easily as that. But I think that, like we're saying, that with this new prospects of a better leadership in the future and a more happy life, more money, more free time, I think people will at least think, well, at least we're not continuing with this drudgery anymore. We've got something to look forward to. So I think that it'll hit them quite hard, and then they'll just see that there's this new way ahead, and then they'll get back up on their feet, and hopefully we'll all go forward again, like you were explaining before with the family coming to dinner. I think everyone will just regroup and they'll just start going forward again. And I think once we get back on our feet as a society, I think the happiness levels are just going to be I don't think we've ever going to have seen them before. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen previously.
Never. It's never happened before in humanity.
No.
But it's going to be great. I can't wait when it happens. It's going to be wonderful. But you know what? I've told my family. I've tried to tell everyone, my cousins, uncles, aunties, and they just throw it away. But again, although they might know something, or and they deny it, again, it's accepting it.
Well, I had a funny thing a few weeks ago. Before our second lockdown, I had someone come to stay with me, and I was trying to explain everything that's been going on. And I kept saying to them, I know it sounds crazy. And they kept saying, no, you don't sound crazy. But I didn't really feel that they were really accepting of what I was saying. And then the very next morning when they were due to go home, they had an email come through, and they said to me, you're not going to believe what has just come through on my email. And I said, what? And they said, I've just been offered an interview to go for a job for flying cars. And of course, I'd just been talking like for 24 hours straight about, this new world and Tesla energy, Tesla healing, and how it's going to change everything with this kind of, I don't think this person really was accepting of what I was saying. And then the very next morning in their email, they've been sent this job offer to go and apply for a job in flying cars. So, wow. That's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Let's see what happens. Let's see more people wake up, Yeah.
I'm dying to see what that job is and if that comes to fruition.
Absolutely. I can't wait until the mainstream media comes down. So many things are going to happen. This is the beginning. We haven't even hit the iceberg yet. you know.
So what are your plans in terms of, you said you'd like to do seminars. How would you see that planning out in the future?
Oh, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just an idea that I got talking to you. I never thought about it because I like explaining things.
Yeah.
When I was doing my law degree, my tutor would always put me to be a leader in groups.
Yeah.
And I would lead the groups because, and all the other students would say, God, you're really good at explaining it. You should be a tutor, you know.
I agree.
You know, so.
You're very good at explaining and bringing out the best side in people.
I love it. I love explaining. That was actually one of my weaknesses as a child growing up. I could never explain myself and I always got myself in trouble when it wasn't my fault, you know. So it's become my strength. So yeah. But Michelle, it's been lovely speaking with you. We should do another one very soon. But when we're closer to the 5D Ascension.
Yes, when something else big happens, which I don't think is going to be very much longer, perhaps we could catch up again. Perhaps we could do like a little group with some of the other people in the future. That would be good.
Absolutely. We should definitely arrange it.
Like a round table.
Yeah. And for anyone that's listening, please subscribe to Michelle. Michelle Fielding. She's a spiritual coach. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel as well. And also, don't forget the GASARAclub.com where you'll find Charlie Ward, myself, Pimpy, and many others more. All right. And Michelle, it was lovely speaking with you.
Yeah.
We shall speak again very soon.
Have a great evening.
All right. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.